Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
Hey, there we are. Good evening, everybody. Wednesday night. Hi, John.
Welcome once again, everyone, to RVing in New England. My name is John DePietro, the key host. You can tell by my sort of background.
Did you pay a lot for that custom background, John?
You know what? That custom background is called passport paper.
Passport paper. Are you going somewhere?
I went to, well, not that I know of yet. I went to freeimages.com and I looked at some backgrounds and I said, you know what? This is cool. We'll try it. Actually, I don't like it. It looks like I'm on drugs or something. But you know what? Hey, it'll do for tonight. It'll do for tonight. Right. We have a great show lined up tonight.
We do.
Jerry says it's making me dizzy. I know. Me too, Jerry. Me too, Jerry. Well, the funny thing is, our show tonight is all about, really, you know what, Bob? It's all about helping others. And I don't think there's any group of people anywhere in the United States, certainly not NASCAR fans, certainly not NFL fans, certainly not NBA fans, that takes pride and pleasure in helping others. And we're going to do that tonight with two totally different topics, but both related because they both involve RVers. And stick around because we've got some live guests. We've got some guests on tape. We've got some guests that we don't even know who they are yet. But the fact of the matter is,
and we got some guests that may join us or they may not join us. So we got a little bit of everything there. Let me start off with our sponsor. You know, we are back with Seacoast RVs, and they are number one park model dealer in the country, number one elevation park model dealer in the country, climbing fast in the Winnebago Chalks. They're the best dealer in the 207 area code last year and buying for that again. So we're delighted to have Kenny and Amanda and Kendra, and you'll hear from Kendra at the halfway part tonight at the mark, and then Brittany, who is their sales manager. So they got a great team down there, large parts and accessory stores. So they creating family fun on Route 1. If you get up to Saco, Maine, be sure to stop in and say hello to everybody.
So family fun on Route 1.
Right. Yeah. It's a good tagline.
Right. Yeah. Or family fun from Route 1, because you go to Route 1 to get the fun and then you get out of there.
Yep.
But you know what would be a cool ride, Bob? Even if you just did it in Maine, go from the northern tip of Route 1 in Maine down to, where's the southern tip? York, right?
Yep.
Kittery.
Yep.
That would be a cool ride. Have any of our viewers done that? Have you ever taken a road and just said, you know what, I can't go from Maine to Florida, but I'll just take that state. And that'd be a cool thing to do someday when you have.
I think you can go to Maine to Florida, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, you can.
West? Yeah, it goes to Key West.
You absolutely can.
It'll take you forever, but yeah.
I don't think you'd want to.
Right.
You go through all those congested areas in New York, New Jersey, et cetera. But anyway, yeah, Jerry says, go. Now, why do we know Kimberly Ann? Do we know Kimberly Ann?
Let me see. I don't. Kimberly, Bill Sell's on. Kimberly.
Well, let's ask Bill Sell how he's doing. Bill Sell, how are you today? How is your recuperation coming?
Let's see if he's. Are you there, Bill? So tell us how the recovery. I'm pretty sure he's almost ready to get back behind the wheel again and get himself back on the road. And
and that is not.
Got some
that's
big
not on the back of an electric bicycle either.
No, that's not. That's right. Bill says he is doing well. He's finally allowed to drive. So that's a good sign. That's a real good. Good.
Gary said I did US 2 from Mackinac Bridge, and I think that same US 2 comes across. I know it's in Vermont. Does it come across Maine?
I don't think so.
Kimberly Ann is a friend of John.
I don't remember any Route 2s up here.
Yeah, I know it goes across Vermont.
Spencer says Kimberly Ann is a friend of John DePietro.
Well, I don't know.
Kimberly Ann, he doesn't remember who you are, so why don't you tell him?
Tell me your last name, Kimberly Ann.
How did you figure that out?
Short distances yesterday and twice a week. 75 miles each. It really does make a difference. Yep. Oh, PT. Okay. The PT. Okay. That's right. So, Jerry.
So, Jerry said, what is he? Okay. Mark and Julie Bennett.
How does it stop and then start again in Michigan?
Vermont.
No. Hey, Bill. Jerry, I think there's a segment of that in Ohio, because if you run right along parallel to Route 90, I think Route 2 runs right along the Great Lakes just north and right through Cleveland.
I'm not sure.
So anyway, we've got some great people here. Let's find out if they're aware of Route 2 ending.
Yeah. One of the things.
No, I'm pretty sure, Jerry. I'll have to check. But Route 20 goes from Massachusetts all the way out to California. And then there's US 6 that goes all the way from Provincetown to the Pacific Ocean. So
plenty of places to go RVing. So one of our first things we're going to talk about tonight is one of our favorite topics, because September 15th to 17th, just a little over a month from now, our good friends from the former Good Sam chapters, now the Northeast Region Camping Charity, will have their fundraising event at Normandy Farms. And I understand that the slots are going quickly. So if you're thinking about going down to be with them, you got to call Liz over at Normandy Farms and make your reservations, tell you with the Northeast Regional Camping Group, so that you can join with them. Always a big event, always a big fundraising event. We expect, we have a notice going out to our dealers tomorrow. We expect a much larger RV display this year. And, I've been accused of being overly optimistic on occasion, but this is a very inexpensive event for our dealers to participate in. And all of the money raised through the display goes to the charity. NERVDA does not take any money.
Yep.
We donate our time and our resources, but all of the money that's raised for the dealers exhibiting goes right back into the charity. And the dealers right now have got a lot of inventory, and they've got very low prices. It's an incredible time to buy an RV. So we think they're going to take advantage of this. And Normandy Farms has also given the charity a larger area for the whole event. I see that Jason has
right on Cole, right on cue.
Yeah, go ahead and click your little link there, Jason, and we'll see if we can't bring you up into the picture. And in fact, let's do a foursome. I see Jim Conboy is on here also. So Jim, why don't you sign on also? And we'll have four of us, and we'll let you guys tell us about the great event and what you have going there. So let me take Jerry's comment down, and I will look down below for the two of you to join the event. And Maria's on tonight. Maria, you haven't been on for a while, have you? Glad to see you back. Been traveling at all? What else we got up here?
We have the Julie and Mark Bennett.
Yep.
That are on. Hey, Julie and Mark, have you ever done anything with Brooklyn bedding? Just say yes, Brooklyn, no, Brooklyn.
No answer.
Hey, Brett in Nova Scotia. Bob, we're international.
Where? Who? Where?
Maria is in.
Oh, she's in Nova Scotia camping. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So, Jason Cole looking good. Jim Conboy looking good. John DePietro looking better than all of you. And Bob Zagami just there.
Just doing it there.
Jim, how about some lighting?
I think
Jason, you're
good.
perfect.
He looks good in the dark.
He looks better in the dark.
We can almost see it. See if I blow him up, we can see him a little bit better. But then
there we go. Hey, 2 of the last 3 times we've been out in the RV, I get a text from area code 401 and says, "Is that you on the Mass Pike? Is that you in New Hampshire?" So 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were stopped at a rest area up in New Hampshire, and Jason and his family were heading up to Vermont. And then a couple weeks ago, I was coming back from Saratoga. We stayed overnight at the rest area, and there was Jason going the other way out to Albany. And then, Jason, well, you just texted me yesterday something. Where are you?
Oh, it was about Mashpee, about the tornado touchdown in the Cape.
But you know what? Interesting you say that. There was one in Mashpee, and there was one in Marston's Mills that I checked it out this morning. It was 2 miles from our house. 2 miles from our house, and our surveillance camera was blown right off its perch. But luckily, we have a great neighbor down there who came over and picked it up and checked the house out.
And the other place that touched down was Mattapoisett.
And
it was one street over from Jose Moniz's house.
It
was one street over behind them, and it took down a lot of trees. He had trees down on his street, no damage to his house, but the part that was damaged the most was one street over from him in Mattapoisett. Yeah.
And he lives in a historic district in Mattapoisett.
Yeah, right.
And the houses are all, 200 years old or so. But they're close next to each other. They're close right to the street. So if there was a tree that came down, it would take 2 or 3 houses with it. It wouldn't be like in a like a neighborhood like where Walter Swenson lives with, space between the houses.
Yeah, Jim. So, I think we got a member of the Jim Conway.
I need to go live.
Is that one of your employees?
Oh yeah.
He joined. And Joe.
My daughter teaches in Rachel.
Rochester. That's Joe Ronda. I thought Joe was busy tonight.
My daughter teaches in Rachel.
Maria says her daughter teaches in
Rochester, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
I can't read it. Maria, Rochester, Mass.
Oh.
Yeah, Rochester, Mass.
Yeah, probably Rochester.
Yeah, which is down by Mattapoisett. So anyway, so we have Mr. Cole and we have Mr. Conboy. They really represent 2 different aspects of Halo's Wish, but both of them are devoting their time and talent to make this an event. And Jason, let me ask you this before we go through. It's my understanding that what is the fee for the weekend?
What is the fee?
So the fee for the weekend is $170 for camping.
Okay. So my understanding, and you get a lot of things with that. My understanding is that if you were to go on your own a la carte, you'd be paying almost as much of that for one night. Am I right, Jason? Jason's
yes.
agreeing with me.
My only problem is I'm having this extreme echo. It's repeating 3 or 4 times. So I'm going to have to back out.
I think it's true that that fee is almost the cost of one night at whatchamacallit? At the fantastic Normandy Farms.
Get to see all your great friends. He's going to reboot. While we got Jim, I wanted you to come on because you're one of the biggest sponsors every year. You sponsor NRCC, and they've recognized you for that. Sorry, it goes right over your head there, but you're a longtime supporter of the event. What does NRCC mean to you, and why are you always the first one to step up? And you are sponsoring, as you have in the past, the great breakfast on Saturday morning for everybody.
So it's I'm also a Good Sam Club member. So my club is Sociable Sam's under the Rhode Island Roadies. Of course, Massachusetts, Rhode Island gets together. And it's a great charity. What people don't understand, charity is part of who I am. It's one of my creeds. I'm a Master Mason. I'm a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Mason. I'm also a Shriner. So along with this, I have the hospitals, the learning centers, other charities that the fraternity does that I try and support as much as I can. And this is equally as good as a charity as what my fraternity does. And I've actually seen the benefit to the recipients. So it's a great program. It really is.
Well, and Jim, and Jason will tell you that the people that put this on, there is no administrative fees involved in this. This is not 5% off the top for the promoters.
Right.
100% of the money goes right to help the kids. And I think that's very important because so many charities today look like they're doing good. But the reality is the amount of money that they're paying the people to run it is like a major international corporation. So the fact that these folks do it totally out of the goodness of their heart, I think that's very important. You guys agree with that?
And that's pretty much, my philosophy with my charities is 100% of what we donate or what we do for them goes to that charity. It's not like the Red Cross.
Right.
10% goes to their relief and 90% is their administrative costs.
Yep. Right. Yep. So, Jason, I'm going to put up the board of directors. Is this still the board of directors, the primary people driving the NRCC now? You got yourself there, and you got Joe and Rhonda Cavozo. You got you and Lisa, Frank Paline. Frank's actually up here at Bailey's.
Frank's at Bailey's right now?
He's at Bailey's right now, yeah. And then Gail and Steve Hogan, then Walter and Donna Swenson. Is that, and then you got Halo, the dog Halo. But is that still the current board that has put all the
It is, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, said Mascot Sam is available. Is that Joe or Rhonda?
It's probably Joe. Rhonda. I think Joe is tied up tonight.
Oh, okay. So it's probably Rhonda.
Yeah, Rhonda says working but on a break. Yeah. So why don't you guys, Jason, give us the who, what, when, where, and why.
So as we Bob mentioned earlier, September 15th through the 17th at Normandy Farms in Foxborough, Massachusetts. You can still reach out to Normandy Farms at 866-673-2767, extension 313, and talk to Lisa if you're looking to come join us for the weekend. But I want to also say we wouldn't be nearly as successful as we are with this event if it wasn't for both you, John and Bob, and the Northeast Region RV Dealers Association and all of their members, along with Jim Comboy and New England RV Roof, who's been a great sponsor for us over the past few years. And we thank you tremendously for all of your help. For Friday night this year, we got a Vanna Pasella on Pavilion 4 down the back. We have Jake and Jenny on Saturday night for entertainment. They just won some great awards down in Nashville. We're going to have a catered breakfast on Saturday morning. And we're looking forward to having another great, successful year.
Well, Jason, let me just point out that catered breakfast, don't undersell that. That is egg, it's sausage, it's bacon, it's muffins, and it's not one of those places that when you're halfway through the line, they say, sorry, we're out of it.
Oh yeah.
And I have to break out Jim here, because Jim's been a great sponsor for that breakfast. And the only time when I reached out to him the other day, he stated the only way that he'd sponsored again this year is if I ordered an extra tray of bacon just for him. So
well, yeah, but then you got to order an extra one for Palange. He's going to want an extra.
Well, I put Palange at the back of the line. I tell him it doesn't open until 9:30, so it's almost over at that point. So
it really opens at 7
before he gets there.
Yeah. So.
That's too funny. That is absolutely
and you couldn't ask for a better venue. I mean, everybody in the world knows about Normandy Farms, and
the Daniels family and their staff. We couldn't do this without them as well. They are phenomenal. Anything we ask of them, they are right there, ready to help us out. Whether it's from a table to a trash can to opening a venue early in the morning, they're there 100% of the time, and they work with us all year long to plan this event.
And and they do that, and they do it with you. But the nice thing is they do that for every customer that goes through the gate, every customer that shows up there every weekend. It's just the way they do business, and that's what people expect when they get there. They love it.
It's a class A operation.
It really is just an incredible.
I mean, we've camped at at many places that you see that are trying to live up to that level of campground, and they struggle because either they can't get the help, they don't have the finances, they just don't have the knack for it, and they try hard, and I give them credit for it, but that's a really big pedestal to get yourself up onto.
I know that there's been some challenges this year because of road construction in the area. Are you providing alternative directions for your folks, or is the construction going to be done by the time you get there in September?
From what we're knowing, the construction should be done. However, I know the campground is very good at communicating with all reservations with directions in and out. If there happens to be an issue.
Yep.
Or is it on Route 1 or the road that?
Both. I know last year it was on both. I know Route 1 that they're building that big facility on the corner of West Street and Route 1. So there's a new warehouse and and truck stop and everything going. Where Pete's used to have their overflow.
Yeah, where Pete's used to have their display, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we expect Pete's to come back this year. We expect
Absolutely.
Bradford's coming back this year. I was up at Mercedes-Benz of Scarborough the other day, and Brandy wants to bring some Mercedes motorhomes and base camp trailers, and she's never exhibited there, but she was really excited about it. And for the very same reasons why I think we'll get a lot more dealers this year. She says, hey, I've got to get my company and my dealership name in front of more people.
Right.
And as well, his 450, not only do you get the participants in the NRCC event, but everybody in the campground, everybody on every site is welcome to come to the RV display.
Yeah. I was speaking with Ryan Hadley this week too, and he's thinking about coming down for the day as well.
Who is that?
Ryan Hadley from Trick RV.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's another thing from why should a dealer be there? Because how many spots there? 400, Jason?
400 to 450.
Okay, so say 400. Okay, and it's usually pretty well packed.
Yes.
We don't have 400 spots for Halo's Wish, but the people that are there in attendance can still check out the units.
They're welcome to the RV units. They're welcome to the entertainment. They're welcome to everything that we have going on that weekend, except for the breakfast.
Can they bid on the silent auction items too?
Absolutely. The raffle will be set up most of the day on Friday and all day on Saturday, and then entertainment on Saturday night is when we draw.
Jason, we should also allow them, give them the opportunity if they're not part of the group to make a donation.
Oh, absolutely. All donations, if you want to do a monetary donation, can be made out to NRCC and mailed to 2 Jackson Lane in Millbury, Massachusetts, 01527. Our website is haloswish.org. We are looking for both monetary donations and item donations for our raffle.
Yeah, when I got the notice going out to the dealers tomorrow, and we've got requests in there for silent auctions and other auction items that they want to put in addition, especially if there's dealers that are not going to be exhibiting, but they want to get their name in front of the people. So
Absolutely.
Go through the shelves, see what's not selling, and send some down there.
Absolutely, and they can reach out to me, either me or Joe, and we'll make arrangements to either get to them or get them addresses that they can ship it to, and whatever needs to be done.
Yep. So Jim, are you bringing both of your display units, or just one, or what do you do?
I don't know yet. I haven't figured that out yet.
Those are pretty cool display units.
But I do have my employee Josh is finally got a trailer, and he wants to come and help again. So I got him a site. So I'll figure it out as we get closer. But I don't know yet.
Yeah. So
Jim, one will be there.
For people who may not know you, Jim, although certainly you're a regular fan every week, tell us a little bit about New England RV Roof. You've just been a very successful business and a great member of NERVDA, but you've developed an incredible reputation. So give us a little bit about your business philosophy, which I assume is pretty damn close to your charitable contribution.
It's very similar to the owners of RVroof.com. The mantra is, we're all RVers. treat the customer's job as though you would treat your own RV. Do the right thing. And the nice thing is I started this location, it's almost 6 years ago. I wanted this roof because I had a Class C and I could not stop it from leaking. And when I called them, they told me I could go to North Carolina. I didn't want to go to North Carolina. And then they said you can go to Florida. Well, we kept going farther away. So I started having a dialogue with Jennifer and David Adair and learned that there was no one up here. Now, I was already a member of the Massachusetts Beach Buggy Association, Sociable Sam's. The light bulb was just too bright. And I retired from corporate, and I brought my brother-in-law, Kurt, on board, and he closed down his automobile shop after 27 years. And, we opened up in January of 2018, and it's been going great. It's taken a while. We've built up a great following. Just like all the other dealers, we do all the shows, we do a lot of advertising, but it does pay off. Right now I'm supporting 5 employees. When I left today, I had 4 in the shop. 3 were going to be sprayed together. And right now we're averaging anywhere between 5 and 6 roofs completed on a weekly basis.
Amazing.
But Jim, you don't have any repeat business, though.
I do if they hit a bridge or they hit a tree. Or
I say that
if they traded in and somebody buys, somebody with a pre-owned unit.
I have many customers. I've done a roof 3 years ago. They traded it in. They bought a new one. I did another roof. They traded it in. They bought a new one. I did another roof.
And it's not because there's faulty workmanship. It's because they want it.
Well, yes and no, John. I mean, I bought a brand new Grand Design Solitude, and when I bought it, it had 3 major leaks. No.
I don't mean faulty workmanship on your behalf.
Oh, yeah.
When you got it prior to that.
Yeah.
And that's why
it is normally the more experienced RVer that we're seeing. I mean, I just finished a 2022 Grand Design Reflection, brand new. Peace of mind. The guy wanted to protect his investment. And there's been so many people I've worked with that have had these things rot on them. It's horrendous how much damage gets done. But to get away from that, we're very busy. I do know that when I started, I was the 9th facility 5 years ago. There are now 34.
Wow.
And I can't tell you, I'm the number 1 producing in the nation.
I can believe it. Now,
Yeah,
you're also going to be a star on RVing Today.
Yeah.
Tell us, I know Jose was down last week and doing something. Tell us about that great.
Wait, before you do that, who climbed up to the top like I did?
Joe, the cameraman.
Okay, not Jose.
Down below.
No,
not Jose.
Jose's past that. Yeah.
Exactly.
I went up to the roof.
They spent the day shooting different aspects of what we're doing. It's funny you said that because I reached out to Jose today because one of the things is I have to review what they shot. There's a lot of proprietary stuff that we do, and he understands that. Well, originally they were going to do a 2-part segment. The first segment, they're going to have discussions on what can an RVer do to protect their roof. What's the maintenance that's involved? What should they periodically be looking at? And then the second segment is they were going to focus on the Flex Armor solution. And when they talked to our corporate parents, since Jose's team is basically up here in New England and we're doing so well, they wanted him to come up here. Well, originally they were supposed to be like a 15-minute spot on their TV show. Jose's told me that it's going to be much longer than 15. It might be a whole segment. Because what they want to showcase is how does someone give a customer a lifetime warranty that's transferable. That's unheard of. And then they had a lot of film from the internet or elsewhere, but they spent a good day watching my employees working, prepping, doing things that no one else does. And actually, I know there is a time-lapse segment where we spray a complete roof.
Wow.
So I haven't seen the proof yet. I know it's going to be aired. I believe it's August 19th and 20th. And I can get back to you with this. And I know up here it'll either be on Nessun or Nessun Plus or YouTube.
We'll make sure we know far enough in advance so we can post it.
Once I know what the dates are specifically, I'll get them out to you. Yeah. But it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
We're looking forward to that event. We're also ready for a break, Mr. Zagami, because we're talking right through it.
Somebody's
who got the dog?
All right.
Oh, that was me.
We're going to let you guys go. We have another segment after the break. Jason, thank you for the update. We'll continue to post stuff. Jim, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. You're the best.
And we will catch up with you guys later on. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Generosity does not go unnoticed.
Right. Exactly. So let me run down here because I did stop down to see Kendra, who is one of the managers up at Seacoast. All right, our sponsor is Seacoast RVs, and I'm with Kendra Smith here today. And Kendra, talk about service in an RV dealership and why it's so important.
Service after the sale is a huge deal. You have to make sure that if there's anything that you need addressed while you're planning on going on your trip, or when you're actually on your trip and something unfortunately happens, you need to know that you have somebody that will back you and take good care of you after the sale.
How about preventive maintenance, having customers come back at a regular time? Because RVs are unique, they're handmade, it's like driving your house down the road. So how do you instruct the customers on what their responsibilities are on preventive maintenance and what you can do for them if they're not talented enough or just don't want to tackle it?
Well, I mean, beyond the spring opens or your winterizations, which obviously winterizations are extremely important, we help with resealing roofs, we help with greasing and servicing wheel services. We do a lot of that kind of maintenance stuff, checking your tires, things of that nature, just making sure that you're ready to go or that you're prepared for next season, basically. And for the do-it-yourselfers, you've got one of the largest parts and accessory stores, certainly in Maine and on the East Coast. So talk about what they can find here to do these jobs themselves. They can find everything here, and if they can't find it here, we can order it for them for sure. All right. Kendra, thanks very much and appreciate your sponsorship of the show. Anytime. There we go.
Were the black labs there?
Oh, they were. And the tan one, there's 4 running around up there now. And they're so well behaved. I couldn't let my dog run around the store while he's sleeping down here, but he's only this big. But those big labs, they love everybody and they're great with the kids. When Amanda brings it's not Jason. I forget Amanda's child's name, and I see him so often there.
Okay. So Bob, let me correct you. I don't have a dog, but you do. And I said, were the black labs there? You said, yeah, even the tan one. Well, the tan one would be a yellow lab. Okay.
Oh.
It would not be a black lab because it's not black.
Well, you can't have a yellow black lab?
Well, you can call a tiger.
You can have a blue lobster.
You're right. Right. You're right. We won't get into that any further. Brandy, was that Brandy right there that you were talking to?
Brandy?
Why did Brandy say thank you? Brandy, why did you say thank you?
Yes, that's Brandy, the GM at Mercedes-Benz of.
Oh, that's right. You talked about her earlier.
Yes, she's going to bring perhaps a motorhome and a base camp, and it's a unique base camp. Oh. It's the REI 20 special edition 20-foot REI product, and she's got 3 of them in stock right now. We joked when I had a cup of coffee with her the other day. She went 2 or 3 years and just couldn't get any inventory out of Airstream. And now she has plenty, so she wants to show it off.
I have something to say about that dealership. And I may have said it in the past, but when you tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said. 4 or 5 years ago, we were up in Old Orchard, and I felt something on my brakes that I hadn't felt before. So we were going over the railroad tracks, right? at the beach, and I said, whenever I put my foot on the brake, I didn't like that sound. So I drove it to Seacoast. Now the other owners were there before, Mike and Linda.
Yeah,
No.
Linda. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, Linda. Yeah.
And I parked there, and then the next day I had it towed over to their facility in Scarborough.
Yep.
And I drove home. I got home somehow. And 2 or 3 days later, they called me back and said, Mr. DePietro, we can't find anything wrong with it. Okay. Now, I figured out what would happen is I caught a stone in my brakes. And when I was having it towed from Seacoast up the street to the Mercedes dealership, because my motorhome has got a Sprinter Mercedes front end, I saw a stone pop out. And I figured that was the noise. But they didn't charge me a penny. Did not charge me a penny. They could have fleeced me for $400 or $500 and said, we did this, and this. And, but they didn't. Okay. I will tell you this. I will tell people about that, because when dealers have the opportunity to make money on me, I wasn't a warranty person. The vehicle was already out of warranty. They could have easily said, you owe us $500.
Yep. Well, it's an exciting time up there, because they are doing the facility exterior and some of the interior all over. So there's some construction trailers, and Randy has moved a large amount of the inventory just almost diagonally across the street from Seacoast RV, where you get a bunch of auto dealers down there, and they'll be showing the inventory there while they're doing the construction. It's going to be a beautiful new building, not a new building, but new facade and what have you. So yes, and they've got great inventory up there, as I said. So thank you, Brandy. Steve Hogan checked in. He's checking in to make sure he's got a lot of work to do at the NRCC charity. Walter says we will be back next year. Do you have any idea what he means? I don't.
Walter's got his long trip.
But he sold his trailer.
I know it, but he's still taking the trip in a car.
Yeah. He's going to do that.
I believe. And
Dante's very late, but he apologizes. But he's very late. So I gotta have breakfast with Dante. So we gotta set a date, Dante, to see what day we're gonna do breakfast. And Mary says Normandy is always our favorite spot in Massachusetts. It is an incredible one, that's for sure. Walter, going to miss this year's event, and it sounds like it will be awesome. It will, Walter. It's going to be fantastic. Mark and Julie say, have heard so many great things about Normandy Farms. Hope to stay there next time we're up in the Northeast. Well, we got a few connections down there, Julie. So just let us know when you want to come up, and we'll take care of that.
Yep.
So, John, the second section, the second thing, and putting this together, we were looking at an event that happened to one of our friends, and John actually said, why don't you lead into the video, John, because it's an important video.
Folks, one of the things that we all have dealt with when we've hit the road is that somebody in our traveling family got sick, whether it was an accident, whether it be a car accident, or they just weren't feeling well or whatever, but you were too far away from home to return home. So you had to seek medical care where you were. Now, I was we were just before at 5 minutes to 7, I made a little list. We've had to seek, in the last 5 years, medical care in Syracuse, New York, Portland, Maine, Winchester, Virginia, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, St. Augustine, Florida, and Elkhart, Indiana. I was responsible for 4 of those. 4 out of those 6 was me. Okay. Now, luckily, those were all treated and released things, and I was able to go home the next day. But there are times, I know our friends, the Wendlands, that have had issues when they were up in Minnesota or Wisconsin or somewhere.
Yep.
But you need to have a plan for what's going to happen if you can't continue. Does that mean the spouse has to drive? Does that mean you belong to FMCA, where they have a program where they come and take your unit back? So about a month ago, we had our friends Patty and Jeff Kinsback on the show here, and they were a huge hit. He is a retired radio personality in the Cleveland area, and in 2020 they hit the road, sold everything, hit the road, and they've been on the road for 3 years. They were up in New England last year, etc. But I saw that in June, when we were going through Cleveland, we were trying to hook up with them, and he goes, I just had open heart surgery. I said, what are you talking about? So we did a recording for them for our other show called the Camper Report Show. And Bob, if you cue that up, you'll see what they had to deal with. And then we will talk about if any of us folks here in the audience.
Right, but just, but this video you made today for this show.
Correct.
This isn't the video you made for the Camper Report Show.
Well, some of it is. I had to do a lot of editing.
Okay. All right. We're going to check. Now, I will tell you, folks, this is a little bit longer than we normally do on our videos, but it's worth every minute of it. The information.
It can save your life.
Yeah. That's a nice way to say it. And you're right.
Hey everybody, it's John DePietro. Welcome back to the Camper Report Show. We have some special guests with a very special message that could save your life. As you look across, you see our friends Patty and Jeff Kinsback. They've been on with us several times before. And you know what? They're Cleveland people that have hit the road, what, you guys, since 2020?
Yep. Yep, October 2020.
Okay. And they just experienced a medical situation that has a lesson in it for every RVer.
Well, the important thing is not to ignore the warning issues. And I had one. I was getting out of breath a lot. And then the second thing that really got me was discomfort in the right arm. Now, most people say they get it in the left arm. I got it in the right arm, and then the chest. And it would go away if I sat down. So I knew it was cardiac related.
Now, from the time you experienced your first, let's just say, discomfort, till the time you got the word as to the surgery that you needed, how long a period of time, Jeff, would that be?
I'd say it was about 6 months.
6 months. Okay. So you probably did the typical male thing and said, I'm fine, it'll go away.
Yep.
Patty's nodding more than you are, Jeff.
Oh, yeah. It's just gas.
Yeah, it's just gas. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you get back to Cleveland, and the first word from the doctor's mouth after you had your thorough test was what?
Well, I had the heart catheterization, and
no, before that, he said, let's do an X-ray on your chest and see if maybe it's your lungs, see what's going on in there.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was fine.
Right. Then I did a stress test, and the stress test showed that there was an issue. I couldn't get to 121 beats a minute. I got to maybe about 115 before they stopped it, and I was having, that angina, that uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah.
And then they ordered a heart catheterization, and that showed everything. You're awake during that, and kind of like in the twilight zone. But the cardiologist said to me, he says, we can't do stents. You have a lot of blockage. And for me, a lot of that was hereditary. I ate really well for the last few decades. I mean, I ate low-fat diets and always very careful. I mean, I would rarely have any butter. But, hereditary-wise, these are the cards that I was dealt, and narrowing of the arteries is what it caused.
Okay. So you get the word from the doctor, and he says what?
Well, he says,
you need what?
Open heart surgery.
You
need a triple bypass operation.
Okay. Now, Patty's not with you when you're hearing this.
Well, right. No, and I was in the waiting room, and I noticed that the surgeon that did the catheterization, he came out a little bit early. I thought, oh, he's done already. Okay. And he sat down and he said, Jeff needs open heart surgery. I couldn't do the stents. And it's like, what? I was shocked.
So you're shocked. Jeff, are you still on some form of low anesthesia?
Yes.
Okay. So you're not really comprehending the severity of the issue?
Oh, I woke up immediately, John.
You woke up immediately.
It was like, oh my God, the cartoon character where his eyes poke out, you know?
Oh yeah,
It was like,
on springs.
What? I was shocked. I was really shocked.
Were you saying I'll never be able to RV again? Was that the first thought that went through your head?
Well, you do think about that. You go through a period of shock, then you go through a period of kind of like depression, and then you say to yourself, I'm determined. I'm going to go through this. I'm going to make it happen. I get the second lease on life, thank God. But I figured we would be able to continue to RV.
Well, but the thing is, okay, after the catheterization, while he was, when they took him back to the room, and I went to see him in the room after the catheterization, there was a nurse there, and the nurse said, oh my gosh, she said, you're going to be fine. Once you have your open heart surgery and recover, you're going to be good as new, if not better. She said, you'll be able to do more than what you were able to do before.
Okay.
So that made us feel better.
You'll be as good as new. What advice? Okay, here's the lesson part. Here's the message part of this whole segment. What advice would you have to other RVers that, especially if they're full-timers, especially if they've got the next 4 months already planned out? Talk about medically, what should they do?
I think the number one thing is to get regular checkups and get a blood test. You do not want to have a heart attack. That opens up the door to a whole lot of other things. So the important thing, get tested.
It should be pointed out, as you mentioned earlier before we hit the record button, you didn't have a heart attack,
right?
Which kind of saved your life, right?
It did, yeah. If I would have kept going, I eventually probably would have had a fatal heart attack. But because I didn't have the heart attack, my heart was not damaged, and my recovery is much more optimistic.
Okay. So I think what you're saying is get checked right away, regardless of where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have ERs for that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You were lucky enough to be able to walk that tightrope.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
As I see the Grand Canyon behind me, where people have walked that tightrope.
Yeah.
So go to the doctor. Call, even if it's an urgent care place, right, Jeff?
Yep, absolutely. People told me that it's more to your advantage if you have any symptoms, do not ignore them and go to the emergency room, because they can order immediate tests, whereas I had to wait 30 days for one of my tests, just going through the doctor.
Okay. Now, Patty, since this has developed, there's something that you've had to do that you never really considered much before, but I think you would recommend it to all other spouses. Tell us what that is.
I'm ready. I have to start driving.
Let me ask you this very poignant question. Mm-hmm. Is your marriage strong enough that you'll be able to take driving lessons from Jeff, or will you have to go out and find a person who's neutral? Will it destroy your marriage if he's
that could give me a heart attack?
It'll be fine.
Yeah,
it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So we just, we want to thank you so much for coming on and having a great disposition, because, one thing about RVers, as you know, because you've been on the road, RVers love to help other RVers. And the fact that you're willing to come on and tell your story so that others not necessarily hear your story, but hear your message about, if this happens to you, this is what you should do.
Right. And same for women. Women sometimes are like guys, they will kind of justify it. So if you're having any symptoms, anything that's not right with you, including a rapid heartbeat, definitely get to the doctor.
But I also think there's a lot of people that are afraid to go to the doctor. They're afraid of what the doctor's going to say.
Absolutely.
And I mean, in this kind of a surgery, it's not easy. They have to saw the breastbone and open him up, so that's tough. And they have to wire it back together.
It's no walk in the park. I don't wish this on anyone.
Yeah, so it's tough, but
if I can save somebody this kind of a situation,
right, it's better than the alternative.
Wow. Amazing. Now has Patty already taken lessons, or did she have to drive the rig home?
No, interestingly, they had to go out for propane because they couldn't get a truck to come to where they're staying with propane. So they had to drive about 4 miles to propane. And she drove a little bit, but Jeff drove to get propane.
And did he, I didn't catch it, but did he was on the road when he had the symptoms. Did he drive all the way back to Cleveland, or was he operating while he was on the road?
He had gradual symptoms. One day it was this, one day it was that, but they never hit him all at once where he said, let's go to the ER right now.
Okay. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Their attitude was, you know what, this has been going on too long. Let's get right home and go to the doctor. So he went to the doctor and not to the ER. And it said it took him 30 days to get an appointment for an MRI.
That's the day that you turn around and next day you go to the ER. The hell with what the doctor said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
what comments do we have from our fans?
you
Jerry
know what?
says he Googled symptoms of heart attack and said, geez, I have most of those. leave it to Jerry.
Yeah.
Mark and Julie. Oh yeah, that's a guy thing. It is.
Putting it off.
But I'll tell you what, I was always that way when I lived up here. Since I've gone to Florida, the healthcare is just fantastic, and they're great people. They got great technology. I look forward to it. But the key to my turnaround is the patient portal. Now, I had a patient portal with the doctors up here in Massachusetts, but they didn't use it much. It was there, and they might post a blood test. In Florida, they use it every day. If I put a question up there in the morning, I get a answer in the afternoon. Okay. So yeah. I find myself much more active and much more engaged in my own physical well-being, and that just because of the technology that they have.
Yep. Exactly.
And Maria says, I worry about this all the time. Yeah, when your spouse is on the road, and let's face it, as you mature, you're getting older and you're enjoying the very things that you've worked all your life for, you do worry about it. But that's what caught my cancer was the annual physical. You've got to get in there for the annual physicals and make sure it's, they're doing all the tests that they have to do. But that's what caught mine so early and why I had such a favorable outcome with the treatments.
Yeah. So, Dante, thank you for the thumbs up. The thing, folks, is this. If you're over 60, everybody's one doctor's office visit away from getting a call that says, come on back, we want to discuss a couple things. That's the reality of life. But it doesn't mean you can't live your life. So one of the things that you see with RVers, I know I saw it the first time we went to an FMCA event 20 years ago. I said, we're only in our 50s. Most of these people are 75 years old. We can't relate to them. But when I look back on it, I say, I give them credit for not throwing the keys into the trash at 65 and say, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and watch TV all day. Folks, if you sit down and watch TV all day long, you will die faster than if you get stuck on an interstate highway and try to cross it to pick up something that fell off your RV.
Yep, faster and sooner. Yep.
The fact is that inactivity will kill you faster than living your life as an RVer. So with that being said,
absolutely.
Bill Sell has a thing here. It's a medium. Go ahead. See what Bill says here. My leg injury could have just as easily happened while on the road, and it's a medium-term life and game changer. This stuff happens to everyone at some point. Be ready. And in Bill's case, if it had happened when he was far away from home, he may have had a situation where the only way he could have gotten home after the activity would be in an RV. So, but Walter says my dad is still getting out with the motorhome at 72 plus years old.
Yeah, and another thing to remember, and it's sometimes you get scared when you have that medical emergency. I know one time when May had fallen, we were helped by another neighbor, or and we were out of town, and we said, well, gee, where's the hospital? Well, if he wasn't there, you got a phone in your hand. Just Google hospitals near me. Now, we were lucky because the guy said, oh, it's right down the street, 10 miles down the street. You'll be fine. And we found it with no problem. But don't panic when it happens, because on your phone, you can call the police, you can call an ambulance, but you can call, get the directions to the closest hospital and head over there and go right to the emergency room.
Yep. I hate to see Jerry say we're 73, probably hanging it up next year. Maybe it's because you don't want to buy a new RV or whatever. But I stay active, folks, as long as you can.
Yep.
And you know what? Inactivity is worse than activity, unless it's really bad activity.
Right.
But what a good show tonight. With great comments from our audience.
Stay healthy and keep your mind active.
Yep. Great comments from our audience. And Bob, we say it over and over again, but we can't say it enough. Without our audience, we don't have a show.
We don't have a show.
We do this for you guys.
7th year. We appreciate it. We thank you very much. We love you guys. And we will catch up to you down the road, and we will see you next week.
Special show. Next week, special show.
We are going to do a special show, but we haven't told the campground that we're going to do it. So we're going to hopefully do a live show with John and I up here in Maine at a campground in Maine. We just haven't told them that we've selected them for our show next week. So
if they don't like it, we'll do it anyway.
We'll just do it anyway. We'll park out in front of the front gate and block all the traffic. So
be with us. Hey, and if you're up in Maine next week, watch it. Maybe you can up and join us in our live audience.
Maybe you can join us. And if Frank Palange is still around, maybe he can come over and have a beer.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, guys.
Catch you later on.
Day, everybody.
Good night.
See y'all soon. Thanks.